Hey, happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome to the Dave Burgess Consulting Incorporated Facebook Live for Thursday. We are so glad that you are here and joining us. As you pop in, please feel free to throw your name over in the comments. Let us know where you are coming to us from, and we would love to have you join us. We'll pick out a winner at the end. And oh, wait, I think I might have a special guest. It's Tara Martin. How you doing, Tara?
Hey, Fred, I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. Just went live. Just telling them get their name over there in the comments. We'll pick out a winner of one of our books. We might have one or two books for you to choose from. Not sure,
180.
180, something like that. And so we would love to have you join us. And we are super excited to be here with you. And it feels like it's been a hot minute since the two of us were together on here, Tara.
For sure. Yeah, it's been a bit. I mean, we used to do it all the time, and then we've had some guests lately. It's been fun. We had some conferences in the middle.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, for sure.
One thing I wanted to point out to people is we are running a special right now, and it is a pretty amazing one. And in sort of themed to the Valentine's Day month, what we've decided to do is we have put 3 of our Kindles at $2.99. And so you can pick up Tech with Heart by Stacey Roshan. You can pick up Allison Absey's Leading the Whole Teacher, or Passion for Kindness by Tamara Letter. Each of those Kindles only $2.99 for a limited time right now. And so if you have not read any of those 3 books or all of those 3 books, you can go grab them all for less than $10. 3 books for less than $10 or $2.99 each.
For sure. It's still of a deal. And we've had a lot of people taking advantage of it. See it here. It's a good deal. I think too, a lot of times, we don't have a lot of time to read right now, like when school is just coming back. The greatest thing about these is they just sit there, and you can get them on sale right now while they're on sale because it won't last long. And then read them this summer. You don't have to dive in right now. So check it out. We also have 3 Impress books that are also on sale. We don't have a beautiful promo for them yet. I will get on that. But those are Evolving with Gratitude, Be Great, and Because of a Teacher Too. So if you check those out on Amazon as well, you also find those for $2.99.
Oh, that's awesome. I see David has joined us and Kristen is here. Thank you so much for being a part of this. Hey, so by the way, if you are unfamiliar with those projects, I'm going to give you a quick rundown. So when you hear something like Passion for Kindness, you might think that, well, this must be a book that doesn't have anything very specific, just like be kind. No, actually, the book by Tamara Letter has a lot of really specific strategies and ways that you can bring kindness into your life, but then also into the life, like through your classroom with your students. And so it's filled with a bunch of useful stuff. Tech with Heart by Stacey. That is, we have this huge number of students who maybe are a little bit more on the introverted side. Maybe they have some social anxiety with speaking in class, or maybe they're a little bit slower to process information. And so the hand raisers and the people that blurt out answers just kind of ride over them in the classroom. And we're missing their voices. And so Tech with Heart is an amazing book about all the different ways that we can bring all the voices of our classroom and have them be contributors through the use of technology. And so that's why it's called Tech with Heart, because we tend to think of technology as being kind of impersonal and cold. And this is showing how technology can actually really be empowering, especially for a certain set of our students. And so that's cool. And then Allison Absey, Leading the Whole Teacher. People talk about the whole child and the whole student. This is for leaders, about how to set up a school culture which is going to take care of teachers as human beings first, and instructors second, and knowing that they're going to be more effective in the classroom with kids if they are taken care of, and there's a sense of wellness in the workday. And so Allison has, again, all sorts of useful strategies that are part of that. I see Nick has popped in from Winnipeg. So good to see you, and thank you for joining us. And yeah, so Tara, you've been a little busy lately.
It's been busy. It's been like, I can't believe it's only January. It feels like it's been at least a couple of months. Oh, it's February. It feels like it's been a full couple of months. It is February. My bad. 10 days
That
in,
just
9 days in.
that
Sorry about that.
that just said a lot right there.
Exactly. It just tell you kind of where my brain is. But yeah, we've been busy. We had FETC last month, which was really amazing. We had a lot of authors there, a lot of educators, a lot of you guys were there. It was so fun to like get to meet so many face to face, meeting new educators that are coming on the scene, first time speakers. It was just so invigorating. It's very fun. So much chat about new tech and chat GPT, all the things. There was a lot of fun stuff, but also just to see all of our people out there doing their thing, sharing their story, and many of our PLN out there in those booths and presenting for the first time. I just had so much fun hearing how others are taking and applying strategies that they've learned from DBC Inc. books, or they've been influenced by our professional learning network in our group and from TLAP, all the different people, and actually doing it with their students and then coming out to that conference and sharing it out so more people can do these great engagement strategies with their students around the world. It's just so fun to see everybody face to face again.
Absolutely. I definitely had a little FOMO as I was watching the feed, and you did a great job blowing up the feed and really sharing a lot of what what our authors were doing there. And just the connections you were making again with the PLN people in our professional learning network as well. And it's so fun to see someone step up and share their work and to just really, rock an audience with their incredible strategies and energy and charisma and all that. And like you said, it's so fun that it's back face to face again. So that's amazing. And I wish I could have been there.
It was amazing. And the after events. So if you're not attending some of these conferences, I highly recommend at least, put into your district of why you need to attend even just one. DBC sends me to 2, and I'm so grateful because just it gets lonely. It doesn't matter what role you're in as an educator or in our role, Dave and I, we see people sometimes in and out of, districts where we get to work with them, but being able to go and connect like this and being able to see other people share their message, but also having those after events, I find sometimes those are underestimated. And I used to be like, oh, I'm just going to stay in. Like, I don't want to go. Like, maybe, I don't know if I'm going to know anyone. But once you get out there, we're educators. We're passionate about what we do. We are going to talk about things that we can later apply with our learners. And I find a lot of great learning happens in the hallways or happens in those events, happens at lunch, happens over coffee. And I love that. So if you get an opportunity to go to a conference this summer or this fall, write it up, pitch it to your district, try to go to one so you can connect to some of the people that you've been engaging with online and interact with them, rub shoulders with them, talk to them, even after the sessions, in between the sessions. That's the stuff that I kind of wrote about that this morning in my blog where I said moments. That's where living really happens. And I think it's so true. We forget that the tiniest of the moments, no matter what it is in life, can be the most significant and the most meaningful. And when we don't have those moments, that's what we think about. It's not the big stuff. It's not those big, huge lessons or the big, huge keynote. It's this tiny moment of somebody making a connection with you and you're taking that back to your people and to your learners. I don't know. It's just something I've been thinking about a lot. And I think that if you have this opportunity or you being intentional to create the opportunity for yourself, you will not regret it.
Yeah, absolutely. And and if you do attend one of these conferences and you see one of us,
For sure.
please come up and say hello. And I'm always disappointed after. Sometimes I'll get a message after a conference like, "Oh, like I saw you, but like I didn't want to bother you," or like something like that. Like, no. We love to meet people and connect with people that we know through our online, through Twitter, Facebook, whatever it might be, and get a chance to actually see you face to face and chat with you. So don't ever be concerned about coming up and chatting with one of us. I think we had 18 maybe different authors there, and like
Yes.
17 of them were really cool. That's a pretty good percentage.
That's amazing. Yeah. And that really does happen, Dave. That like the first exactly. The first day, someone sent me a DM and said, "Hey, I saw you in the hallway, but you were on your phone and I didn't want to interrupt you." I'm like, "Oh, I was probably tweeting about somebody's message." Like, seriously, interrupt me. Like, that tweet can wait. I love meeting you face to face. I'm a big hugger. If you've met me at a conference ever, you have gotten a hug or you've been anxious about getting a hug from me because it's gonna happen unless you tell me again. And so, yeah, we love that. We love making those connections, being able to hear a little bit about what you're doing, what you're learning. And we can't be everywhere all the time. So please, 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 if you see us, like, make it happen. Come talk to us.
If you do have any sort of anxiety around hugs, things
Hugging.
like that, like make sure you like be very firm with your boundaries with Tara. Just make sure you like
You definitely want to.
communicate your boundaries, and then everything will be fine. Otherwise, yeah, you're in trouble.
You're in trouble. That's right. A lot of people that love them, they're like, they think I'm the best hugger. So if you're a hugger, you're in for a treat. But if you don't like them, you should probably give me some kind of warning. We had one guy out. He will be okay if I share. Do you think Mike would? But Mike, the first time Mike met me, he knew he was gonna meet me, Mike Muhammad. He knew he was gonna meet me at Spark. You remember that? It was a long time ago, 2017 or something. And he said he had to warm himself up, like thinking about me hugging him. I'm like, oh, you could have just told me you don't like hugs. But I hugged him.
Mentally preparing himself to be in place to be able to handle this onslaught that was going to happen.
Bless his heart. He was ready for it. No. Bless his heart. But anyways, yeah, we love connecting with you guys. That's the bottom line.
Absolutely. Hey, so a couple other things going on is I'm very excited to have rebooted my podcast and have a little consistency. And so I'm trying to put out an episode a week. And so far for 2023, I'm on it. I started at the end of 2022 with an episode with Tara. So make sure if you haven't heard the episode with Tara, you go check that out. You get to find out all the cool stuff that she's a part of right now, including her brand new role as a CrossFit coach, not just CrossFit athlete, but a CrossFit coach. So we chat a little bit about that. I had Allison Absey on to talk about leading the whole teacher. We talked about some great stuff. Super awkward moment at the start when I asked her if she knows any bullfighters, but that's an inside joke that apparently she wasn't ready to talk about. I had Dan Chikarko on to talk about the Zen teacher, sanctuaries, and right here and now. And also Julie Smith came on the show to talk about social media, media literacy, TikTok, like all these different things, which are just ever present all around us. And she is a media literacy expert. And so she was a fantastic episode. And then a couple solo episodes in there too, including the last one, which is oddly titled Sitting at Lakes, ... and doing the or if you got the email from us, sitting at lakes and doing
just a little stutter. It's okay. It's all right. I told Dave, this is another good teachable moment, Dave. First of all, those podcasts are amazing. So if you're not diving into that, you should. It's the Dave Burgess Show. We'll drop the link over in the comments. I'll drop the latest link right here. I have it handy. Also, so I made a mistake on the email going out. You know, it happens, right? It just happens. But I remember when I first started for DBC, and this is like one of my roles when I had to send out the newsletter every Sunday. And I was just like, oh my goodness. And I would double check those emails. It was ridiculous. I don't know if you know anyone who or you have a student that checks things 87,000 times. And then they finally send it and they still make 1,000 mistakes because they have so much anxiety around it. Well, anyways, that was me. And so I used to do that all the time. Now, unfortunately, I'm like, looks good. I only check it maybe once or twice. And I thought, oh, you know what? I'm going to capitalize everything instead of leaving it as a sentence sitting at least. like I'm going to capitalize everything. And I capitalized it, but I left the lowercase one in front. So if you got that email, it has a nice little error right in the body, right in the topic. Everybody's going to see it. So it's Lala Lakes. And I told Dave, I was telling him the other day, you remember when I used to lose my mind over making a mistake? I would make a mistake and I would literally like cry about it, being frustrated about it, and like just thinking about it all the time. And the next week, I'm like overly anxious, sending myself 30 test emails, trying it out. You know what? Those are the kind of things you just gotta let go. That's the dumbest thing. I can't even believe I used to worry about that. I mean, yeah, it goes out to 30,000 people, but who cares? Everybody makes mistakes, right? So, yeah, I'm just here to say, keep it real. It's no big deal. If we have a little stutter on an email here or there, just know I'm just keeping it real. I'm not gonna fret about that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. No, I have seen progress in that too, because you would go spinning over a mistake, something like that.
For real.
And let's be clear, like I'm pretty low key about that stuff with you. Like I'm usually saying like, don't worry about it. But like, but still that wouldn't matter. I'm trying to embrace that with my podcast too. And I'm trying to just do everything in one take and not edit. And so it's so easy to, once you go down that rabbit hole of like, oh, let me take out this vocal pause. Let me take out this little silence here. I want to say that a little better. Once you go down that rabbit hole, it becomes really hard to ship an episode because you can always find something wrong. And so even with just
the book, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same with the book. It can go through multiple phases. I mean, our books go through so many reiterations of it. And at the end, you're still going to potentially find a mistake here or there. It happens sometimes. We fix it. It's no big deal. We fix it for the next prints, but you cannot let yourself just get over obsessed with that. We're not going to be perfect ever. And trust me, I'm a recovering perfectionist. Not that I was ever perfect, but I was always striving for it. And that is something that you just have to embrace it. There's going to be mistakes. There's no sense in spinning about it. It happens. Move on. Surely most of the world out there thinks just like David, but you're still so cool. I love this comment. So thanks, David. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we definitely notice our own mistakes more than other people notice. And so even just in the last episode, I had something that just didn't trip off the tongue right. And I had to kind of go back and re-say it a little bit. And like, I hear it every time. But probably if I were to say like, hey, where did I mess up on my last podcast? People would be like, oh, I'd have to listen back to pull it out. But I know exactly where I had a little, something that just didn't come out quite right. But am I going to go back and edit that? Like obviously if it's really bad, I will, but I just loaded it up, press publish, send it out to the world, and it's all good.
I think we appreciate that though. Like it's so much more relatable.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's, when it needs to be edited. For the most part, I say just go for it. Yeah, Kristen, I'm with you. I think with students, especially, they need us to model this too, more and more, because they are so, what do you call it when there's just such a flood of filters and all these things that make people look like everything's perfect and it's not. So helping them to see like, hey, it's okay. Make mistakes, and really not criticizing them every time they do make mistakes. We're not going to be perfect all the time. That's one thing I've learned with CrossFit coaching too. You cannot fix everything in one class. And so why stress a person out? I mean, coaches were so graceful with me. They didn't try to fix all my technicality issues in one class. It was just like, hey, we're just going to work on this one thing. And when you get that thing, then we work on another thing. And that's how it is with our students. We get to see them every single day. We don't have to fix everything at once. Just give them a thing to work on, break it up in manageable chunks, and let them know, what, we're going to make mistakes sometimes, but we can't just obsess about it. Exactly. We can't obsess about a mistake in one reel or whatever that they're creating. We just have to like, hey, this is a little blooper. People love bloopers. Dave, you just posted something probably beginning of this year. Maybe it was like the end of last year. It was like something that didn't go well. And remember, it was like almost going viral. What was that tweet or that post?
I can't remember what you're talking about.
But it was something that like didn't go well. And you're like, whoa, people love that stuff. I'm like, exactly.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
People love being able to
yeah,
see that everyone makes mistakes. They can
right,
relate to it.
yeah. This is
What
something
was it? I don't
actually,
remember.
as far as like with kids too, and with writers, authors, something I talked to Dan Chikarko about, and that people, one of the reasons why people don't write, for example, and why students don't write is because they're nervous that they're not writing well, and they don't know.
Right.
They're like, I don't. They have what they call writer's block, which is really not always I don't know what to write, but it's more like I don't feel like what I'm writing is good right now, and understanding that that is part of the process. Like you have to write bad to write good. There's going to have to be
Yeah.
a first draft. Like you can fix a draft, but if you don't have a draft, there's nothing to fix. And so getting students to pick up their pen and just go and write and be willing to be bad, be willing to have their first draft not sound right, and then realize now we have something on paper, now we have a direction, now we have something we can work with. And so overcoming that inertia that stops so many people. And I was listening to someone talk about this. They're like, well, like I don't like these free writing things because I don't know what to. And they talked for like 10 minutes about how they didn't know what to write. And the person was like, that would have been perfect. You should have just wrote. That's what he told me. Like, sit down at your, like, when I say like write, I have no idea what I should be writing about right now, but the teacher says that I have to write, and so here I go, and off I go. And the reason I can't decide what, they could have had like 3 pages just if they would have written down what they were, what their thought process was about the whole thing. So sometimes you just have to get going and get that pen flowing, or computer going, to
You're telling on yourself.
to overcome the inertia. Yeah, I'm old.
If he mentions a typewriter, no,
When I
it's okay.
when I first went to college, I had a typewriter that came in a big giant case, and
Did you carry it in a backpack?
when you made a mistake, you had to pull out the black cartridge and put in a correction cartridge, and then type over it with the correction thing, and then pull out the correction cartridge and put in the black cartridge and start typing again. That's how
Oh,
old I am.
dear. That's what tried to mess people up. They didn't want to make mistakes. That's the
Exactly.
problem.
No,
That's why you guys are messed up.
you were super careful about what you typed when you had one of those things.
That's why they were nervous to write. No, I'm just kidding. We have it easy now. It's just a backspace, right?
Yeah.
That's how I am with the journal writing too. I write in my journal. You better not make mistakes with a typewriter. I write in my journal each morning, and sometimes I don't know what to write. So I just write whatever I'm thinking. I mean, it could be the dumbest thing, but I want to write in it every morning. It's a habit for me. I don't want to get out of it. And so even if there's like not a lot of thinking happening, I just write something like what went well yesterday? What can I do a little bit different? Or what am I thinking about? It can be so random. Like it doesn't matter, but just get something out there. When you have something, as Dave was saying, you can then perfect it. You can work on it. And that's what we tell our writers too. A lot of times, authors will come to us. They're nervous. They're trying to finish up their manuscript. They know they have these deadlines here and there. We're like, just get it down, because get the idea of it down. Our editing team is going to go to town on it. And don't marry your first draft. It didn't come to you, and you're not going to produce a book in one day, in one night, in one sitting. It's not going to happen. It doesn't matter how big it is. You're going to go through a lot of phases. We're going to be looking at it from multiple perspectives. You're going to be thinking about that work in so many different ways before you get a final product. So stop trying to marry it. Stop trying to think it's going to be perfect on the first round. And this goes for speaking, writing, teaching, I think just living, period.
I see Kristen mentioned that they shared one word processor, the six Yeah, so I can remember the very first computer that I did an essay on in college. So in all of high school, typewriter. College, I brought one, and then there was at one time there was a girl I was dating in college at UC Davis, and her parents had bought her this like word processing computer thing, And I would go over there to do every single paper because it was amazing. Like, what is, you just press this button and it just backspaces over the, like, what is going on here? I don't have to change a cartridge. I was like, this is amazing. And then you press print. What? Like, it was like magic. And by the way, that ex-girlfriend is now a science teacher.
That's cool. That's cool. We always get off on all sorts of crazy stuff. Well, we were talking to a bunch of kids from the CrossFit gym and telling them about typing. We were talking about typing recently. And one of the things we were talking about was AOL, like the first way that D and I had ever experienced like trying to connect with people around the world. And I remember we would go to set it up, go to sign on, and it would make this loud screeching noise. And I could go take a shower and then come back, and that's when I would be logged in just to see if I got a DM.
So now imagine what the situation is in college is you can say, write me a paper about quantum physics referencing, and you can like put the people in that you're supposed to reference, and then like the AI writes the paper for you.
I know.
And that's your first draft, and then you can personalize it and work on your first draft. Like, how wild is that?
It's so wild, and it's so cool. Like, I am fascinated by it because I feel like a lot of times, like just what you're saying, you know, kids sometimes don't know where to get started. So if you can at least get them started, that's the first thing that can get them going. And somebody asked this question on Twitter the other day, and I didn't know an answer to it, Dave, and I'm gonna ask it to you. What's more important, the author or the editor? And I was like, I don't know if you could even answer that question, because I've seen it where an author can come in, they can be so charismatic, such a great speaker, they have the best message, they can get this message across verbally, but sometimes getting it on paper is really difficult, and that's okay. It doesn't make their message any less important, and we do want to reach more people, and more people will be reached if we can get it in print. So something like this where it could get it out there, and then we could manipulate it and work on it and add the energy into it. To me, it's just cool.
Yeah.
I'm pretty fascinated by the whole Chat GPT stuff.
And what do you find is that there's how you ask it to do what you want it to do will be a huge determinant of the quality of what you get. So it's kind of like that whole, like I talk about questions being questions being the key to creativity. And if you want to change the teacher's classroom, change their questions. And so what you are inputting to this AI is super important as to what the AI is going to send back out to you. So there is still a human element as a part of it. And then again, what they spit out, you can have them do some of the busy work of it all, and then you can add some of that creative touch and personalization and all that. So there's lots of different things. And I'm certainly not unique in saying this, but people freaked out with calculators. It's like, oh my God.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or like even math. AOL.
What are we going to do in math class? Like, there's calculators now, and like, hey, it's fine. And like Google, they can look up answers. Like, can you imagine, like, anything in the world, they can Google it and find the answer. Like, education is outdated. Like, it will never be able to keep up. And then now Google is just a great resource. And so the same thing is going to happen with AI. It's not going to put educators out of business. It's just another tool in the toolbox. And we will all learn how to use it and adapt to it, and how to have students use it effectively. And, we'll be looking back at these conversations 5 years from now thinking like, why do we think that was going to be so revolutionary and ruin education or whatever it might be, the fear mongers about it. So.
It's so true. And I think, I always think about, of course, always think about my message, be real. And be real is not that technology shouldn't exist. I mean, I talk about technology a lot in my book, but it's all about seeing the human behind the tech. And this is another scenario where the tech is going to come and play, and AI is doing its thing. It's working. And just as Dee and I were talking about the other day about Google, when it first came out, before that, we had encyclopedias, and Caleb couldn't believe that like Google came out like when we were alive. He couldn't believe like we didn't have that when we were younger. He's like, what wow, like, what did y'all do? And I'm like, it was a big deal. Everybody's like, oh my God, they're going to cheat on everything. Like they can see everything, they can look up anything. And now we know that, yeah, we can look up lots of things, but we still need the human element in everything that we do. And it's going to be this, it's the same way with the AI. It can create quite a bit of things, but it cannot create your voice, your everything that you add to it. So we just, I think as a world, and especially as educators, we need to be mindful that we're going to get a lot of new AI is not going to be the last one. It's going to keep coming. More and more cool stuff's going to happen, but tech will never fully replace a human. I just believe it in my whole heart that it can't fully replace a human, a real human, in all of its beauty. We'll always just need to be able to see the human behind the tech and allow the human to add their element into it and use it as a tool. And it can move us forward. I think it's just such a beautiful thing. I love that kids are able to get some sort of draft and then put their word into it, be an editor for once, and be able to play that role. It's cool.
Alicia from North Carolina, thanks for popping in and joining us. And she's sharing some thoughts here about some hopes for AI. And so I think most of the fear mongering is misguided, and we're going to be able to adapt to this and figure out how to best use it for educators. And by the way, wait, where is this? This is kind of upsetting. Or where did she go?
Oh, sorry, Dave. I messed up here.
Okay. This is Thursday night. Like, this is Facebook Live. Like, we pushed bedtime back on Thursday night, and give them some devices to play on, or have them watch a show. Like, this is important stuff. This is DBC Inc. Thursday night Facebook Live, and yet people are dropping off for bedtimes. Like, I don't understand.
Well, they have little humans. I did like this one comment right here by Kristen. Thank you. You don't think technology can replace Dave and I? I don't think so either.
It won't be anytime soon that we have like the AI Facebook Live going on.
The AI Terra. Whoa, that's scary.
You'll just come on and just be like this microphone like in front of the screen, and I'll just be gone and just be like.
No, it'd be your cool AI images, like the ones that were created on that.
Oh yeah, Linza. Yeah. The Linza.
You guys get that? You get that girl. She looked good.
No, I never did my Linza. Maybe I need to. Never.
You better get one just in case they do replace us.
Yeah. I still haven't done my Linza ones, so maybe I have to go back and do that.
You're still here. Yes, there's so many of us still here. Thank you. We have seen the AI tear. She looked good. But you get the real deal tonight. Anyways,
what was the phrase that we used? The enhanced.
She was enhanced in all kinds of places. I don't know who that girl is, but hey, in another world. Anywho, that's your profile picture. I love it. Yours looks great, Kristen, by the way. Yeah, thank you guys so much for joining us. We have run over 3 minutes. It's no wonder Nick had to leave us to put her boys to bed. But we love hanging out with you guys. Again, just going into the rest of the week, which is only one more day. We're going into next week, the weekend. Hopefully you'll consider a couple of things. One, just soaking up moments. If you need some things to soak up your moments with, dive into the Dave Burgess show. It's going to help you out. And also keep in mind, you know what? Don't worry about those little mistakes. We're not going to dwell on them. We're not going to spin about them. We are just going to let it wash off. Keep going. Life carries on. We're real people. AI can't fully replace us. So, and I bet AI even makes some mistakes sometimes. But anyways, we're just going to keep it real here. And we hope that you also will, and have a wonderful Friday tomorrow, headed into the weekend. Please dive into some of those Dave Burgess show episodes. I forgot to drop the link, Dave. So close us out while I go grab the link real quick.
Yeah. And the other thing is just a reminder that we have a total of 6 books that you can get for $2.99 right now, ebooks, Kindles, right? And so we have 3 DBC Inc. titles, 3 Impress titles, and so 6 different books. And so it's for the DBC side, Leading the Whole Teacher, Tech with Heart and Passion for Kindness. And on the Impress side, we have Be Great, Evolving with Gratitude, and Because of a Teacher Too. So 3 projects on each side of the company that you'll get for $2.99. And we would love for you to support those authors and hear those messages. And if you haven't had a chance to pick those up, now's a great time to do it.
For sure. I'm grabbing that link still. Sorry.
No problem.
I like the link that you shared, Dave, because it allows people to listen from anywhere that they want to. No, I got it. I finally have it.
Okay.
Just took me a minute. I like this link because it allows people to listen from anywhere. And I just think it's a better one. The one I always share is the Apple, because that's where I listen. But I know that a lot of you like to listen from different places. So
yeah, this has all the platforms, Spotify, Apple, right off the website, however you want to listen to it. And so dive in. And like I said, lots of great guests in the last month, and plus some standalone episodes. The way that it's set up is that the guests are usually somewhere from 45 to 60 minutes. And then every once in a while, I sprinkle in some just solo episodes with me. And those are about 8 to 10, 12 minutes at the top. So that you can choose kind of a different length depending on what it is that you want to do. And there's always going to be something there for you. And we really appreciate you joining us on this Thursday night. And we just rambled and talked about all the things, which is as we do.
We like to do that.
And we usually don't have a topic. We're like, oh, let's just go live and see what comes up. And
let's just talk about something.
Yeah, that's usually what happens on these Thursdays when we're together. And so we appreciate you being a part of it with us. And we will definitely see you next week.
So Dave, I was thinking since we had a week off, why don't we give away 2 books this week?
Let's do it. Choosing 2 people.
So we'll choose 2 people. So if you're listening to this on the playback and you're putting babies to bed right now, don't worry. We respect that. We understand that. We won't choose our winners until in the morning. Get you a comment over in the comment section on the playback. And we'll be choosing 2 winners to choose any book of our line of choice. And we have 6 on sale for $2.99. So you can just go buy those. It's cheaper than a cup of coffee. And then we will give you a free one of your choice that will mail to you with a little pirate hat.
And only half of us understand that. Like Tara understands that. Me, I think that you should stay here and listen to the show. Like
for sure.
Give the kids some candy. Come on.
Give them ice cream. Just keep them up all night. Awesome, friends. Well, you guys have a wonderful weekend. Do let us know if you want to connect. We're always on social media. Check us out. And if you have any questions for us or anything, hit us up. We're always out there. Bye, friends.